don't think you can go forward and allow 60% of the insurance companies not to provide basic maternity care in a new system we're setting up that hopefully is going to be better than the old one. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. No, first of all, I don't need maternity care. And so requiring that to be in my insurance policy is something that I don't need and will make the policy more expensive.
If I could just interject once with my colleague, I think your mom probably did, but...
Welcome back to Hardball. That exchange between Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow and Arizona Senator John Kyle underscores why it's important to have a woman's voice in Congress these days, and we do. 17 U.S. senators are women right now. Maria Shriver is the First Lady of California, and all this week on NBC and MSNBC. She's guest editor for the Women's Nation Project. She's joined forces with the Center for American Progress to study women today, and the result is the Shriver Report. A woman's nation changes everything. That's strong-sounding language, Maria. But I just want to.
I love that clip.
And I love the clip because without getting into details, and you're not here to sell Obama's health care plan, you're here to sell the role of women in American life. Let me ask you this. Some people think that Obama's missed a point here, that women really do. Well, you know, you ask the average woman what shots have the kids had, she might know where to find out. You ask the average guy what shots the kids have had, their kids, he has no idea. The mother knows the doctor's names, he knows the kid's health situation, the shots, their histories. Women do take more responsibility for health in American life and for their parents.
They're the biggest buyers of American health care. But I think I know you've spoken about that in the past, Chris. In fact, you came to the Women's Conference and talked about how your wife knew all of this and you didn't know any of it. But if you talk to young men today, they do know. They do know the name of the pediatrician. They are much more involved, not at any level, the same way that women are. But that's changing in American households. And what men and women told me across this country is that government has not kept up with the changing role of men and women. Yeah. Business has not kept up. And that men want to be more involved, and women are demanding that they are.
Well, let me, I have to now jump on something you wrote here. This is in the talking points I've gotten from the key. These are your issues now. Quote, some researchers report that a wife feels more sexually attracted to a husband who pitches in around the house. And one of the biggest predictors of a husband's marital satisfaction is how often he has sex. I mean, this is the strangest thing we're talking about here. Are you saying that Arnold, A, helps with the dishes and gets along better with you because he does?
No, I don't see Arnold's name in there at all. I think that's your mind. You've gone into some area that I'm surprised you've gone into. But I think that we've talked about the change in this report. It talks about the changing role of marriage. I can tell you that men do say that the #1 predictor for them of a successful marriage is sex, and that women say that they want men who are supportive of them, who helped with child care and elder care, and that made their husband more sexually attractive. You can take that information home tonight.
Okay, well, I will. Let me ask you about these other issues. You know, I do think that women, I still stick to my political assessment, not the knowledge base you have now, but if you look at the polling, women do focus on health issues. They focus on education issues, on elderly issues. They do take care of their parents better than their husbands do. You argue that that's changing.
Well, it is changing. The facts, I think, in this poll, you have our partner Time magazine that has the American woman on its cover. Women still feel primarily responsible for the child care and the elder care in this country, but you will talk to 80% of the elder care that's done at home is done by women, and that's incredibly expensive. Women are using their voices to demand changes in the workplace and from their government. They're not going to accept gender discrimination in this health care bill. I think it was really great to see Olympia Snowe, a woman, a Republican woman, be so forceful this past week in this debate. I think women running companies are bringing men and women together, offering flex hours, telecommuting, virtual employees. The American family has changed, Chris. Less than 30% of kids have a stay-at-home parent, and the implications of that have to be felt across our government, our faith-based institutions, the way schools are run today with summers off. That's a huge challenge for working families. When you have two people out of the house and working, institutions have to adapt.
I'm thinking, I'm a big fan of this new show on television. Kathy and I don't watch a lot of television. We watch this, The Good Wife, and it's about a woman who's got a husband who's in politics, got into trouble, a guy's done a lot of things wrong, and she's trying to do it all. I've always thought, tell me if I'm wrong, based on your new data, women They have to have child care. They have to have good public education for the kids, most parents. They need to have Social Security for their parents and Medicare for their parents as they get older. They're very focused on these issues, and therefore, in a lot of ways, they want a more active government role. Is that still a fair assumption?
That's true, but what this poll also shows, which I think is really exciting, is men are interested in these issues the same way women are. That's a huge change, and I think that that will bring about even more change when you have men going in asking for flex hours, when you have men talking about elder care, when you have men talking about all these different issues that have been associated with women's issues. There's going to be change because women are demanding it, and so are men. They want to be different fathers than their parents. They understand that their role has changed and that particularly young men see a sea change. And I think that women do expect more from their government, and they expect it to be supportive of them, helpful for them, and current and modern. This is smart economic policy. It's smart government policy. And this president probably knows more than almost any about what it means to live in a woman's nation. Raised by a single mother, lives with a primary breadwinner until this role, lives with his mother-in-law, is raising 2 daughters. I think it's so interesting that the last 3 presidents are all raising daughters, all have strong relationships with their mothers, and 2 of them were married to primary breadwinners.
Yeah, I find that, I like to talk about that too, Maria. It's your topic, but I always agree that Bill Clinton was raised, he had one father who was a stepfather, was a drunk, tried to beat up his mother. He had to stand up to that guy. Barack Obama's father left the family after the age of 3. They were both really brought on to public life and success by their mothers more than their fathers.
And they know what it's like to be married to a working woman. I think Barack Obama wrote about the concept of negotiation way before we even conducted this poll. I think in this poll you see that families are saying we're negotiating all of these responsibilities at our kitchen table. We want our institutions to get up to speed.
Well, we have nothing to argue about, Maria, my friend, except that you say I'm old school. And the only reason that doesn't bother me is I think you know another guy that's probably old school, and I appreciate older school. Thank you very much, Maria Shriver, for bringing us this report. I love the power of it, the Shriver report. It's got a real power to it. Thank you, dear. It's great to have you on Hardball.